There we go. Yeah, I did a thing. I'm here. Yeah. Okay. I was I was saying I was already late, and now I'm even later than late, so it's all right. Okay. Where do I have to go? I have to go in here. There. 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 Live stream link. Okay. Okay. All right. So I have some things. Hold on. I gotta shut my door. Woo. Ah, I'm stuck. Okay. Last week's stream was probably pretty unhinged. Looking back at it now, let's see. What does it say? Audio. I think the audio is good now. So, okay. OBS was yelling at me. Hey, Obi-Wan, how you doing? Oh gosh, all I can think about is the Twitter drama today. And hey Belmont, I noped out of the thing. I just as soon as I posted that thing on Twitter, I just nope. I muted it, and I've been having a busy like last few weeks, which is pretty atypical. I mean, other than it normally being crazy around the holidays, but like I went to a wedding last week. Um, this week there was just chaos. I slept over at my parents' house with my son, and just that was the thing. I got my Christmas tree. That always makes me mad. I don't know why. I lose my cool every year. Um, but it's right. And this stream is probably not going to be any better quality wise. But there's some positives. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. I got a shipping number tracking number from Mike Chi. So my RetroTink 4K is on the way, and I think that's going to solve a lot of my problems. I wish I had some kind of a VGA to component adapter, or actually it would just need to be a VGA to SCART, because I believe the RetroTink 4K 5X has RGB HV input through the SCART. So that probably would solve some issues, but I'm using the OSSC still because it has the audio input. So you can input sound from a sound card or something. You can go right into the OSSC, and it mixes it with the HDMI video. So it's just simple. However, it's simple on my end. The output is it's not that the quality is bad. I mean, obviously it's not 4K, but it has real bad problems when you switch resolutions, which your PC switches a lot, especially older ones where like every game might have different weirdness and stuff. So I think the RetroTink 4K. Well, I'm gonna see, right? I don't really know. It sounds like there's some other people that have been doing testing with it. Looks like what's his face? E plus Fox has one, and he's been messing around with Windows stuff. I think I didn't watch. I've been avoiding watching reviews of the RetroTink. I mean, maybe okay, that might not be a great thing. I might miss some features of it when I go to look at it myself. So maybe I'll look into it afterward. But I don't know. There's something magical about being, with not having anything spoiled and kind of going into it myself. So that should be really helpful for PC stuff. Also, as you can see, I got rid of that terrible I didn't think it was going to be terrible, that Razer webcam, but it just exploded, and like my face had a giant something like green screen thing. And not like this camera looks better. I didn't tweak it. Normally I have to tweak it to turn auto white balance and auto exposure off, which is just terrible because it just changes the color, and it's just kind of anyways, I don't know. I would like to get cheap Sony APS-C, like a 6100 or something. I would like to get one of those and use that as a webcam over there. So I might just stream everything from starting over there. But there's a lot involved with that, because I also don't really have a way of a better way of monitoring the stream over there. It would be really nice if I had another HDMI cable coming out of my graphics card on my computer here, and then I got some kind of, actually this would be okay. This is like a 14-inch 4x3 LCD screen, just to read comments and to watch the stream, because I think I've addressed one of the issues. I gotta fix this auto white balance. It's bothering me. One of the issues last week that was probably pretty cringe. I think normally I hope normally my stream quality is okay. But last week it was dropouts and things. So like I'd be playing a game and like it just wouldn't record anything, even though I know it should. But I found out that it was this. I have this like 20-foot, I think it's 20-foot or 25-foot maybe, HDMI cable from a brand that I normally trust, right? So I normally only buy this Power Bear brand on Amazon, but I'm going to try something different because it let me down. I have this 15-foot HDMI cable from Monoprice that works better. So I'm back to using the Evermedia card, capture card, which is the 4K, the Live Gamer 4K. So it's not the HDMI 2.1 new one, but it's HDMI 2.0 spec, which should be good for the 4K. So I'm excited for that. I switched out my HDMI stuff, which I might do again. I'm basically trying to set up my setup because I also reached out to Dan from Pixel Effects to see if he would send me a morph, because I would like to do maybe not super in-depth, but like if you guys have requests for consoles or hookups or something, whatever you want to see, I would like to be able to, well, actually, depending on if I have any leftover money after Christmas, I kind of want a second one of these Live Gamer 4K cards, because then I could capture both the morph and the RetroTink at the same time. Plus with the Extron, anything that is component input, and I could do this with HDMI modded consoles too, because I have splitters, HDMI splitters. So basically anything that I've got, I could duplicate it, right? So component at least. Actually SCART, I don't, I think the only console that I would need to whip out the SCART is I don't have a NES with a multi-out. I only have the one that has the NES RGB output, and that has a SCART input. But I have a G-SCART, and that has two SCART outputs. So I could duplicate that one as well, and basically have anything that I wanted to capture, I could pump out into both the Morph and the RetroTink 4K, or any other scaler. It really doesn't really matter. I'm not, Just those are the two right now that are kind of like coming. OSSC Pro is more like the RetroTink 5X compatibility or capability wise. So, anyways, but I need more HDMI cables. I needed a second capture card if I'm going to do that. I need, I would need all that stuff to do that. But I don't know. But that's not what this is about. This video is, well, hopefully you guys let me know if there's any issues, if there's any video quality issues, cutouts and things, because that bugs me. And, I want you guys to not have a bad experience. And yeah, you'll see what I'm talking about when the resolution switches. It'll cut out for like 5 seconds. Man, this is going to be interesting. If anybody's never seen the OSSC, well, not like it's life-changing now, but I may not be able to get in on round 1 of the RetroTink 4K. Both my card. Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, I feel Belmont. I had to pay for my RetroTink. I mean, I was glad to do it. I've been waiting for it. I guess I kind of wish I didn't get the LG, the OLED before. But we'll see. Keith hit me up about servicing your PVM. Ah, nice. Yeah, that's a good call. Probably worth the drive up there. So yeah. Speaking of that, I mean, I've got. Eventually, I would like to do that CRT that I've got. That might be outside of my capabilities, but in theory, it doesn't look super difficult as long as I can correctly do the what is it called? The cap. Drain the cap, the anode cap. So, anyways, all right. So I kind of, I still have a thing to set up. I should be able to do it. I don't think I need to reset the stream or anything. I have my camera here, and I just want to talk for a couple of minutes about what's in this computer. But I would need to get this cable, and I don't yet know if it's going to work. I bought a powered. You can't see it. I'm just pointing to the massive cables in the corner. But I bought a USB 3, an active, so it's powered from the computer, which makes, in theory, it makes the cable go longer distances. So it's probably a 25-foot or 15-foot USB 3 cable, goes over here. And then I bought a USB 3 hub, powered hub, so that's plugged in. So in theory, I shouldn't have any issues plugging in capture cards and things over here, which is where all my stuff comes out. However, wouldn't you know, the Razer webcam from last week didn't work, but my Logitech one works. So I'm gonna hope, my fingers are crossed, that I've got a Camlink 4K over here. Let's turn on the power for it. So I've got a Camlink. I've got my own camera charger thing. So that's that. Then I need to plug this mess of things in. Okay. Okay, now I need to make a new scene. Actually, no, I can use this. I feel so old. About a Gateway 2000 Pentium 2. I can't see. The stupid heart is in the way on the YouTube chat thing. Does it say, you say Pentium 2? Yeah, Pentium 2, 266 and 19. I mean, don't feel old because I was, well, okay, yeah, okay, maybe you bought it, but I was 5 or 6 when my dad bought the Pentium Pro one, which, so that was in between Pentium 1, this model, and the Pentium 2, 200 megahertz. So this is a little slower, but with the exception of Quake, which we'll go into, I haven't had a problem running anything yet. And we're talking about, like, this computer is squarely in software render game mode. This is not a 3D computer. Last week, so the difference between this computer, and I'll talk about what this computer is in a second, but last week I was showing my Time Machine, which actually is kind of in pieces now. I don't know what happened. I think there was a problem. I think I may have. I don't think any of these computers like SSDs, or maybe it's the capacity, but we'll get to it in a second with this one. I had a really hard time with this one with larger disks, but I'll talk about that in a second. I'm not getting some comments. Okay, hold on. Oh man, they're taking a really long time. Well, Belma, I kind of think at 4K is actually good. I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm built different, but I notice when things are 1080 versus 4K. So you could get a nice computer monitor. Granted, computer monitors get up into LG on sale OLED territory. Actually, there was a C3 OLED sale not too long ago for like $900 for the small one, for the 42-inch. So that's a slightly worse deal than what I got. So this was probably about $600 or something. This is a C2. It was used. It wasn't a sale. I mean, it was cheap on sale, but it wasn't a new TV. But so far, it hasn't given me any problems. Not long after I bought. So VR, the interesting thing that you said, that I asked my dad, and I told this story last time, but I asked my dad why he picked out the Pentium Pro that he did. My dad's not necessarily a technical person, but he said he wanted a computer, and how fast the computers were was changing so quickly that he just had to buy the top of the line at the time, and it moved on very quickly. Because if you think not too much before that, actually, another thing I hope I can get working is my dad used to have a machine shop. He used to like rent or lease this place, and there was an IBM PC AT that they had there, and that was old even when we got the Pentium or the Gateway. So that thing has a 6 or 8 megahertz 286. So I'm hoping to get that working because that would be sweet. Like that thing has been in. I've had that at my parents' house for a really long time, but I don't think it's ever worked. I don't think I've ever got it to work. So however we need to do, we'll talk about disk emulation, floppy disk emulation, but older IBMs is crazier because there's multiple different formats of floppy drives and things, but we'll get there. But yeah, not after that. So the Pentium 2 and 3 and 4 was like right bang, bang, bang very soon after that. Up until like early 2000s when gigahertz and higher was really prevalent, Windows XP era. Yeah, dude, Verador, I think retro gaming, I don't, for some reason it seems like it is a little more popular now, and I think it's two reasons. Well, maybe not two reasons, but really my reason is thanks, Newman. Nice. I know if you do any sort of IT, you know for a fact a couple of things. If you go in, Navigator, what's up? If you know anything about new IT stuff, you know how much e-waste there is, right? People, old computer, get rid of that thing, and it just goes to a dump or at the best case scenario, it goes to electronic recycling place, but still that's. There's valuable things for people that collect stuff that just goes to waste all the time. So I think it's almost worse than video games because at least video game consoles, they're smaller, right? And it's easier for people to conceptualize what it is and the value that it has. When you look at an old computer like this, granted there were a lot of pre-built systems just over the decades that are just junk office systems, right? Not a lot of gaming potential, but for gaming potential, there's a lot of systems that just get thrown away. And if, let's say you pick any random, hold on, I'm just gonna get my drink. If you pick any random, where's my drink? If you pick any random generation or chipset CPU combination, and then what's actually kind of interesting is PC gaming or PCs, I guess, and the internet. Where the hell? My seltzer's just gone. I'm losing it. Okay. You can still find reviews for old hardware, which is amazing because I was like, the computer that I was using last week was the Athlon 64 computer, and that's an old system, maybe 2001, like early 2000s. And you can still find like a Nantec articles, Tom's Hardware articles about which motherboards are the best. And then you try to Google or try to go on eBay and you like try to find that specific motherboard that was the best. And you can't, they're just gone. So you try to find that chipset and yeah, now you have to get, well, what's really neat about right now is that you can get a lot for a little. Now you might need to either just be patient because there's some people that gouge or they have old hardware that, you don't know the condition it's in and they're charging a lot, $75 for motherboard or $100 for motherboard, and you don't know the condition of it or whatever. So that's difficult. That system over there, I got like most of the parts for like $15 to $20 a piece. And so that's not a terrible build. I mean, it's not an amazing, it doesn't play modern games, but it plays a lot of early 2000s games. And there are so many computer games that I learn about computer games all the time. Like I watch Phil's Computer Lab and that he just has these demo games of games I've never heard of. This is crazy. So, all right, I gotta scroll back up and read the comments. Yeah, the Gateway was for. Yeah, my dad's is crazy expensive too. When you add the CRT, the speakers, and all the accessories and all the software, extra software and games and stuff, it was expensive, crazy. Just needed Voodoo 3D effects Voodoo Voodoo 5. That's funny. Overclocked it by moving a single jumper. That's right. Yeah, I would like to get a 486 because that's kind of like the. I feel like the LGR kind of classic era, but I mean this is one generation above a 486 is the Pentium one, and just more affordable. I just stuff is insane with 486 just because I don't know. Must be a lot of people. A lot of people must be nostalgic for it. Didn't I just have that seltzer? I thought I was just drinking it. Does someone know in the, in the footage where I put that? Oh, that's funny. Well, all right, I'll find it sometime. Okay, so I want to keep going through all these comments because I'm glad you guys are into it. I got a Gateway out of a dump and got it working by removing the sound card. Yeah, so that's one thing I'll recommend if you are. I kind of would recommend a pre-built, assuming the specs are okay, like an older pre-built, back when the. Well, first of all, I don't think case airflow for an older machine like 90s, it doesn't really matter that much. Depends on the chipset and stuff. Like, I have this other board coming that has a chipset fan, so maybe in that case you might need more airflow in cases. But pre-builts are just a good way to get all the parts at once. So, like for example, I mean, I got this Gateway 2000 with all the parts and it was working other than a hard drive. For like 150 or 175 or something shipped, which is not bad at all for what this is. Like that's to me that's worth $200 just for the nostalgia alone. So okay, moving on. Retro gaming, yeah, woo, good lord. I mean the e-waste is bad everywhere because people just throw stuff out. I'm not like I sound like angry man or old man yells at cloud, but it's true. I mean I used to work in an IT department, and they would just have a big box of. Granted, as if you're an IT department, you don't have the time to stop and like, okay, well, what happens if I swap out this IC on this motherboard to try to get it to work? You don't care that much, you just want to move on to the next thing. But case of the disappearing seltzer, yeah. Got to look at the madness. Yeah, that's right. My colleagues don't give away their PBMs. Well. See, that's the I don't know. I feel don't throw away your stuff. If you've got stuff that works now, like PCs or whatever, like hold on to them because they're even, you might get another computer and it'll be, better, that much better. But then who knows what's going to happen in the future. Granted, computers kind of became very samey after a certain amount of time. They just kind of all were similar. So. My daily retro gaming PC is an Athlon Slot A. Yeah, Slot A is interesting. Is Slot A, or is that Slot 1? Maybe I'm thinking of Slot 1. There's a lot of weird slots. So when someone say slot instead of socket, that's literally because the CPU is on like a separate like daughter board and it goes into a socket and it's huge. Like the CPU pack, like the whole thing, not just the CPU itself, but like it has a cooler normally or like a heat sink or whatever, like it is big. It's like this, and then it goes like a RAM slot, and into that. But then there's some motherboard or some socket types that are called slockets because you can get an adapter for the slot to be a socket for a different. It's crazy. It's actually for that era. It's like it's interesting. So if it doesn't find that drink in the next 2 minutes, yeah. Found the model of HP PC. Well, that's the other thing that's cool is. The style, if you think about, think about any OEM brand, HP, Dell, RIP Gateway because they're owned by Lenovo now, I think. But if you think about any of those companies and then you pick any of their major brands like Dell XPS, HP Pavilion, I don't know, whatever Gateway's top of the line thing was, the lineage of those systems goes all the way back to retro times. To a certain extent, Windows 98-ish, 95-ish times, and you can just see these amazing. I would just Google like the Dell or is it XPS or HP Pavilion, or even like if you look up the Sony Vaio too. I think LGR did a really good video about the Sony Vaio systems. They just look amazing, and you will not find that kind of style in PCs anymore. I mean, I guess some cases are nice looking, but we've gone like polar opposite with. I'm not even going to talk about early 2000s cases that were just trash, like no airflow, no just worthless cases, just bad design and stuff. But they don't make them like they used to, and from a company, maybe Alienware is the last manufacturer that makes nicely designed OEM. Well, I don't know. Some of the business class systems are kind of cool, but it's a cartridge-based Athlon. Yeah, nice. Yeah, and recapping, I think I might need to recap some of these boards that are just starting to die. Like they have weird issues. I have a board in the basement that's a AM2 board that the sound just doesn't work, but it has noticeably crusty caps. So I don't know if just replacing the caps would just cause that to work, or if there's another IC or something. Yeah, that's interesting, Vincent. I wonder if I should just try that. Nice. It has some ISA slots, best for DOS games, and also an AGP slot that drives the Voodoo Banshee. Nice. Yeah, I couldn't get. So I have. I know. I'm like, we have some time to with this. Oh, I do want to fire it up and we could play some games or something. I want to show you guys software rendered Quake from this era. It's kind of laughable, but that's what I think the when I beef up the Time Machine Windows, I don't even know. Maybe I'll install Windows XP on that instead, because that PC will be beefier than Windows 98. So like this might be just my dedicated 98 machine that just plays 2D games, and then so I have these other. I was trying to deck out a. It's called a Time Machine. Well, Phil's Computer Lab calls it a Time Machine. It's basically a newer computer, a newer generation computer that is still compatible with older hardware and software. So his suggestion was socket 574. I actually got a replacement motherboard because I couldn't get the AGP slot working in that. I'm ordering a socket socket 959. That was the next one. Is it 754 or yeah? I think it's 754. Yeah, I can't really tell because the thing is covered up, but it's an Athlon XP. But you can turn everything off in the BIOS. It's a single core still, so it kind of is okay. It's you can turn everything off, and there's a function in Athlon 64 boards called Cool and Quiet, which is basically the multiplier. Some Athlon boards didn't give you control of the multiplier on the CPU, so you can turn the CPU multiplier way down, and it makes it run at the lower speed. So that's a unique thing. If you run into some games that don't like the speed, I mean, it's only at 2 gigahertz or something, but it's a single core, so. But I bought this. This was another thing that Phil's Computer Lab reviewed. It was it's a Fire GL, so it's a workstation card. It's AGP, but it's an ATI brand. Anybody, most people here in the chat probably remember this brand, but this was what AMD graphics used to be. It came from ATI because AMD bought ATI. They merged or something. I mean, this card looks amazing. It's got this beefy copper heat sink. It just looks neat. I mean, not as beefy as like the later heat sinks. Like I have an 8800 GTS, and it has a double. That was the first graphics card that I ever bought that had a 2-slot heater or cooler, and that card came with Crysis, so that was around Crysis. But anyways, this is a AGP card, and you're supposed to be able to flash it to be or use the drivers for an X800 Pro or something. That's like the equivalent graphics card, the retail graphics card. I think I hear seltzer bubbling. I don't know where to put it. Anyways, but this didn't work. So either, it didn't boot. So I think it's a problem with the motherboard. So that's why I ordered another motherboard. So that's the Fire GL. So this will be a good like early 2000s card. So I'm excited about that. But I also, idiotically, I thought that this was going to be able to fit in that Time Machine as well. It's another AGP card. It's a S3. S3 Savage, which looking back at it now is actually probably a pretty terrible choice for a couple of reasons. One, AGP was this weird. It didn't last very long, but it was a weird accessory slot, whatever, right? So between PCI and PCIe was AGP. But if you don't know anything about AGP, there's actually two varieties. Well, I guess there's three technically. It depends on the voltage supplied by the motherboard. So this is AGP, but you notice where the key is on this. It's on my right side. I don't know. From your angle, it's the left, I guess. But then the FireGL card, if I hold it the same way, the notch is on the opposite side. So that's the voltage. So one is a 3-volt AGP card or something, and one is a 1.3 volt or 1. There's a different voltage, and they're not compatible with each other. And motherboards are keyed different. But then there's also eventually there's universal motherboards that do have both, would supply both, and would be compatible with either. But it doesn't matter because this computer doesn't have any AGP. It only has PCI and ISA slots. And this computer only has the key for the FireGL. So I bought this semi-rare card. You know, it was kind of expensive. It was like $100 or something with shipping. And I can't even use it. So that's fun. Eventually I'll try it out. But it looks cool. It definitely fits. Seems like it fits that generation, the late 90s. And look at that. It's got composite output, S-video, and then just normal VGA. So that's cool. Some older DOS games run so fast on the later computers. That's the reason people tend to use Pentium 1 or AMD K6 generation processors for DOS gaming with proper sound. Yeah. I had multiple ATI cards. Nice. Yeah, I mean, it's sort of never really something I thought about, and I'm kicking myself. I'm wondering how many good deals on used cards I could have had on eBay just over the time that people just get rid of them and move on to something better. It'd be really cool to have just a collection of cards. But then, you know, you kind of need a collection of computers to go with them because you need to test. And if something doesn't work in one computer, you need a second computer that has the same setup to verify that it's actually that computer or that part and not the computer. So, as you can see, I've been going crazy. I've been like consuming all this just information about retro. Even though I was semi there. I mean, I was 6, but I remember all this stuff a lot. So AGP cards always had some compatibility issues between motherboards because of different versions of the slots, yep, and the voltages. Some later motherboards can support all of it, yep. So, another thing I thought was cool is this was kind of before the era of those 6-pin connectors on the cards. Look at that Molex connector on the back of this. That's pretty neat. I never saw a. This is the newest old card that I've had that has had this and not the 6-pin. It's like my 8800 GTS had a 6-pin. Oh, okay. Let's try to. Excuse me. I keep hiccuping. Let's try to see if I can get. Excuse me. Did I call bench cam? And then I've got to add. Add. Excuse me. Jeez. What? Hold on. I'm here. I'm just trying to add video capture. Cam link. Is this going to work or is this not going to like it? Oh. Hey. 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 All right, let's see. Does this work? Can you see my hand in live? Oh, live. Yes. Can you see my hand in live? That's funny. Okay. So now I got this, and I got a light on my camera. Boom. Oh, wait a minute. Boom shakalaka. All right. Nice. We could talk about what's in it. I mean, it's not crazy, and it's stock, basically. Okay, so let's switch to this first, though. Okay, so This ATI cards are notorious for memory chip failure. That's the reason some cards stop. Interesting. So I wonder if it is the card. I wonder if there's any known. The problem is that some of these cards are so new now, though, that they have like BGA chips. Like I can't fix that by hand. All these are. I'm assuming these are all memory. These are all BGA. So I can't. I don't think I really feel comfortable. Maybe Jeff Chen would. But that's why I want to get another AGP motherboard because I don't have another one in my house right now. I used to have one back when I had I had an actual Athlon computer. All right. Best AGP PCI GPUs for streaming should come with a DVI port. Yeah, that's what the Fire GL has that. But with the RetroTink 4K, anything really should work. Hopefully. Most of these cards upscale any of the lower resolutions into 1080p. Yeah, so I mean, I got all the scalers. You'll see the OSSC later. So, okay, cool, great. I'm digging that you guys are interested because I was concerned that after the issues I was having last stream that nobody was going to care. But I think this is kind of a cool little side journey. Okay, so this is the Gateway 2000. There were a lot. Well, Gateway 2000 is a brand, but this was like their top. I don't know. They had a sideways version of this case that went underneath the monitor, but this is like it's huge. It's like compared to like this is a mid tower, probably comes up to the bottom of the drives, and then it goes up 3 more drives on top of that. So it's pretty big. Actually, let me just. I could do this. So we have the technology. Out of the way. Yes. So it looks nice. I mean, so this is the if you're looking for your own gateway of this era, they tell you the specs of whatever the model that you got on this little sticker. So P5, it's Pentium 1 technically, but P5 was the 5th generation Intel because it was 8086, 286, 386, 486. That was Gen 4. Pentium was the first 5th generation. So P5, and then 133 megahertz. I don't know what the XL is. So that's just an interesting. Oh, you guys can probably not see that, huh? There we go. Yeah, that's the little case badge thing. So that will tell you. And like, so I'm guessing that my parents' one, the one my dad bought would probably say maybe P6 here for Pentium Pro, and then 200 because it was a 200 megahertz one. I know, that's amazing, isn't it? There's absolutely no yellowing. Like, I got super lucky. I'm glad because if you look at most of these computers now, either the drives are yellowed or just the front bezel is really yellowed. I'm super surprised and I'm thankful that I get to have such a nice. I mean, there's scuffs and stuff. I gotta clean it. So, okay. So, as you can see, there's stuff that's not old, stuff that's modern. When I got it, it just came with the 2 gray drives. So it came with the disk drive at the top, which is just a CD-RW. It's not a DVD drive, but it's just interesting things to note is like around this generation is CD audio. So like you could listen to music through the front here. It's got a interesting volume thing. And this interesting combo, I didn't know. I think this might be a little bit newer. Probably 2000, year 2000, probably around then. So it is a lot newer, I suppose, 5 years newer. But it's an interesting 5 1/4 and 3.5 floppy combo, which is not even hooked up actually. But you know, it's nice to have. You know, it took up the space of the a free spot. Free front panel slot. But so then the other 2 things I've got here are the new bits. So the top. Or actually no, so we'll start up at the bottom, is a Gotek. This is a Gotek floppy emulator, basically unmodified. I guess I'm kind of kicking myself, although I already ordered the parts to mod it. You can get these in a bunch of different varieties, and they come in different colors too, so you can get black front ones if you want to put it in a newer case or something. This is gray, but they do actually have a beige one, a beige shell. I would actually like to have filament, fine 3D printing filament that was the same color as this case, and hopefully something that's either ABS or ASA too, and not just PLA, so that I can reprint this. But so the Gotek is basically, there's some software that you can use, and it's essentially like emulating 100 discs. Well, I guess you might have be able to get more than 100. I'm not really sure what the limitation is, but the three digits here kind of indicate what disc that you're going to pick. So you can press these buttons forward or backwards to select the number, and then that's the disc that's loaded. And then so you can use that from anything from using it as a boot disk. So when you're installing Windows 98 or 95, whatever, you need the matching boot disk, which is essentially like a little DOS boot disk. So you boot into DOS first, and you can format the hard drive and stuff to get ready to install. But I'm not against physical media, but I don't necessarily know if I want to go out and source all the original parts to get this working. So I just to me, it's easier just to emulate at least the floppy disk. And it makes me want to get the IDE adapter that what is his name? Fixel made. It's $300, but apparently it can emulate multiple drives at the same time. So you could probably emulate a disk, a floppy disk. I would probably actually emulate a disk drive and a CD drive at the same time, and then just leave the Gotek for the floppy. Because one of the problems I'm having now is kind of getting media onto the computer, and I'll bring that up again. But okay, so that's the Gotek, and I'll show you. Well, I'm not really going to do with anything. I'm not going to do anything with it tonight, but it's just a kind of a cool thing, and it's pretty important. This is like a must-have in my opinion, and it's pretty cheap. $30-ish or whatever. So then the other thing up here is a compact flash to IDE adapter, which is for some reason is like the more popular way. Instead of, I guess you could do an SD to IDE adapter, but for some reason these compact flash to IDE are just get recommended a lot instead. So it's essentially, this is my hard drive, and it's it's an internal hard drive, but it's literally external, which is kind of neat actually, because after the computer is off, I can just pop it out and I can plug it into my other computer. I bought a CF card reader for my main computer, and you can dump files onto it, so you don't necessarily need to copy with a floppy disk or anything. You can just do this and transfer files, and then just boot the computer up again, and it works fine. What's interesting is I originally bought this bad boy, and I'll get to the comments in a second. I can't really see comments right this second. I'm almost done talking about the front. I bought a 32 gig, thinking there's no way that this is too big. This is a good size, right? I think the Windows 98 file limit or disk size limit is 128 gigs or something. So actually, I had originally hoped to get an SSD. So I bought these some of these 120 gig Inland, which is the Micro Center in-house brand. So I got these SSDs, but they weren't being detected at all by the this machine when I booted up. And then after I got this, the 32 gig also wasn't recognized by the motherboard. So it wasn't until I got this 2 gig one, which is probably more likely around the hard drive size that these would have come with. Actually, Quantum Fireball is the brand that I remember that my parents' one had, and actually this probably would have had as well. And that would have been around like 1.2 gigs, 1.5 gigs maybe, max. So this is a 2. This would have been hot shit in when this computer was new, this 2 gig. So it's very interesting, all the hoops that you have to go through to get the things working. So I fussed around a lot. So one of the thoughts I was going to do this today was I think the limitation of that 2 gigabytes was with the BIOS, and I've updated to the latest BIOS that this motherboard supports, so that's good. and it actually would read these cards now, the 32 gig ones. However, I'm still having problems getting them to boot. I went immediately after I updated the BIOS. I had just this IDE disk drive with the SSD with a SATA IDE adapter as the master and the slave, and on the same IDE channel, and that it didn't like it. It wouldn't read the SSD, or it wouldn't read the disk drive. So that was fun. But I figured it out. So, rip seltzer. I hope it's not open, and I hope it's not like flying around my room or something. Okay, so I think that's really it. I mean, there's not a ton inside. So already it's kind of not really... Oh boy, what happened? Oh, I think I touched the wire. Okay. It's already not really stock. Actually, let me take a break and I'll look at the comments. I'm going to put the thing over here. And then I guess actually while I'm here, the AT power supply, which is actually on my floor. So these computers all are AT form factor, and I think it might be baby AT. I don't really know the differentiation between AT and baby AT, but AT would have been like the IBM form factor power supplies and everything, where the power switch was integrated into the power supply. So on a IBM, like the one I've got, has a giant like power switch on the side. Like, it's a huge switch. It like makes a loud thud, and I'll show that when I bring it home. But this one just had a push button in the front of the case here, but it was hardwired into the power supply. So I had to unsolder the switch, and I had to buy... I already had this... Well, I bought a different power supply for that other computer, but I had this old Corsair power supply lying around, ATX power supply. And I'm not going to go too in depth about using ATX to AT, or ATX to AT adapters, this little adapter thing here, because it's really just like a little connector or a little thing. It really doesn't look like that much. Oh God, it's the cable. It's walking out. Okay. Yeah. It's this here, so it goes to the 20 pin power of the ATX power supply, but on the other end it has these other connector types. They're like this P8 P9 situation. They say P9. Oops. Anyways, they say P9 on there. Those go to the motherboard instead. So the main difference between AT and ATX are, and I kind of talked about this last week, but the ATX or AT power supplies have a negative 5 volt rail on there. I don't know how well you guys can see that. Probably not very, but negative 5 volts. But modern power supplies have a 3 volt rail instead. So for this computer, it's fine. This particular computer, it's fine because none of the accessories use that negative 5 volts, but there are some that would, and so they would just straight up not work. However, I did see, I'm going to go sit back on the computer now for a second because I want to look at comments, but I also want to talk about this cool project I found. Let me see if I can find it first. It's like Smart ATX. Yeah, ATX to AT Smart Converter is this cool project I found that there was some Kickstarter, but it happened a while ago, so it's not really available now. I'm just... let's move it over here. I gotta go. Okay, yeah. This project was pretty neat. So this is actually I think it does handle generating the negative 5 volts. And I showed it to Zaxor because he's kind of my go-to electrical engineering person. And he said that the design looked fine. So this is sort of like a more interesting it gives you more some stat readouts about your power supply, and there's some jumpers so you can actually like tweak some settings. But I believe it has some like more like over voltage protection, and I do think it actually is there like a list of features? Okay, so there's this 5-volt, 12-volt overcurrent protection, configurable reaction time. Oh, so there's like virtual fuses that you can cause it to shut off at certain thresholds and things. It does have the integrated 5-volt, negative 5-volt rail, and with protection on that, and just foolproof-ish. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. So this seems really neat, and it doesn't seem like it's that complicated of a thing, other than just solder a bunch of stuff together and then flash the firmware. So this seems really, and it has a built-in USB cable for the for formatting or installing the firmware. So it seems like a really interesting project, and I definitely want to check it out. So this is kind of what I've got here, this passive ATX to AT. So it really is just an adapter. The two little wires coming out of it are to connect to the button. So like I said, I've got that push button in the front here. Literally just two little legs stick out in the bottom of it. And there's spade connectors on the end of the ATX to AT adapter thing that kind of just shove up in there. And for my purposes, they've stayed fine. I haven't had to solder them in or anything. But it just bridges the connection when you push the button in. That's really all it does. It kind of kickstart. It's like using the paper clip to start your thing. So I think this is a really cool idea, and I want to check it out because this might be helpful for just this kind of stuff. I mean, I don't really have a computer, but however, that IBM, if the power supply of that IBM is bad, then this might be a solution because that's older. That's 80s. That's late 80s. That IBM. So okay, let's look at some comments for a second here. Probably have to go way back. Let's see. Load flash floppy. Yeah, so I bought flash floppy. I intend to install flash floppy onto the Gotek floppy emulator. I have I kind of forgot to mention, for the Gotek emulator, there's a mod that you can do. Right now, there are these really bright 7-segment displays, like really garish red 7-segment displays that tell you the digits of which number that you're trying to load from the floppy thing. And the only way that you can navigate is by using these buttons. Oh, actually, yeah. So you press the right button and it moves the single digit. You press the left button and it moves the tens digit, and you press them both together to move the hundreds digit. But the mods that you can do, actually there are headers on the Gotek board already for two things. One is a little OLED display that can read out the volume label. So whatever you flashed onto that particular floppy part in the software, you can label it and it will show up on there, which is really kind of neat if you're looking for a specific thing. And it has a rotary knob, so it has a knob that you can quickly go through the list of everything. So that's and it is a different firmware, so it supports multiple different types of disks and stuff too, which is really cool, and which would be really helpful for the IBM if I get that working ever, because the IBM came with two different disks, a double density and just a normal disk, or a normal different size disk, and that's complicated and a whole can of worms. So, but you can flash. So if I had two of them, I could have them both do that. So, let's see. Flash floppy. Yep. I start to preserve some rare PC parts by cleaning and recapping it. Most older motherboards like 486, 386 come with suicide batteries. Ooh. Oh, are you talking about those like through mount? What do they call them? There's a brand, right? Those batteries that are soldered directly to the motherboard, which I'm glad I have the soldering skills, to be honest. That all that stuff would have intimidated the heck out of me when I was younger, but now I could tackle it. So yeah, I definitely should. All these motherboards that I'm saying are, they've had bugs and weird issues. I should recap them. Ironically, there are not very many caps on the motherboard on this one. There's one big one here that I can see. There's a one tantalum there. There's some more of the metal one. I guess there's quite a few, but usually it's the electrolytic big boy ones, the tall ones that are the ones that go bad. There's like 3 on this one. However, if you look at something like a sound card, this sound card has like 30. Look at this. This is a Sound Blaster Live, and it has probably 30 caps to replace. Like, bruh. So, interesting. Okay, what was comments? There's a hack to make 98C SSDs. Yeah, I read something about there's like a drive overlay software, but I don't think it would work on the boot drive, right? Because I've also heard you can get add-on cards that are IDE controllers, so you can add more storage if you need. You can add more IDE channels if you need to, which I probably might, but I'm not 100% sure if it. So yeah, there's some software that you can do to have it read. What is it? Partitions larger than the max, but I don't know if they're good for boot drives. If they are, I would love to do that. So yeah, I'll have to look into that. CF is IDE. The adapter is just moving the pins. Oh yeah, yep. And also, it's interestingly enough, I learned that you guys remember those. Well, maybe you don't remember. But if you ever had an iPod, an old iPod, the ones that had mechanical discs inside of them, I believe the size or the form factor, I guess, is identical to this, the compact flash. It looks kind of like this, but it's I can't remember what it's called. There's Easy Disc or Quick Disc, something like that. And it has these. You can kind of see what Electro Hacker was talking about if you look at the. My thing is not here. You guys can maybe see that now. There's the pins on there that kind of look like IDE. So I believe that it's kind of compatible. It just needs that. Well, there's more smarts in the CF to IDE adapter also. If nothing is plugged in, it just shows up as an empty, like no device. So it's different than just the straight through adapter. But yeah, that's interesting. Oh, okay, so there's more. I see. So there's more conversion stuff that needs to happen for the SATA or the micro SD or SD to. Yeah, I see. Interesting. Could also load a BIOS loader on the hard drive to get over the limit. You need to find a modded BIOS that restores compatibility with those newer drives. So I know that Mr. BIOS. There's a Mr. BIOS version that runs on these boards. Maybe that would work, but I'm not sure. That adapter for the PSU is neat. ISA devices might use it. Yeah, more ISA cards use the negative 5 volts. If I had to guess, they're using a switching regulator to convert some of the 12 volt to 5 volt. Oh, you're talking about the smart ATX thing. I don't find the motivation. I didn't find the navigation mod to be required. Yeah, probably not. I mean, most of the stuff for Windows 98, it's sort of like, looking back at it now, it's sort of like the lazy way to use DOS, and like for most of the things that you do, they don't require DOS to boot them, right? Because around the time you had a lot of Windows clients of DOS games, so like Doom had Doom 95 and other newer ones like Ultimate Doom, Final Doom. Those are Doom 1 and Doom 2 Windows versions, so that would load from Doom and things. And actually, I believe when you like, let's say, so I think how it kind of used to be, you would copy the stuff from your disk, from the floppy disk. So like you'd get some shareware game on a floppy or something, and you could copy all the files from the floppy to your hard drive, and then load from the hard drive into the game. Where was I going with that? So I guess it's not necessarily like you need. I can't remember what I was going to say. You don't necessarily need to be running off of the floppy all the time. And if you try to load a DOS game that's been copied to the hard drive in Windows, at least Windows 98, it actually boots it up into a DOS. It's not like a DOS emulator, and it's not DOS. Or I guess it's more like a DOS emulator than it is real DOS, I guess, I've heard. But there's a game, Doom, on this computer for some reason. If I try to run a Doom, so I got the sound card to work in DOS, and with Windows it was way easier. But with DOS it was harder because I needed to use not autoexec.bat, but I had to add something to. I had to create and add something to like DOS.exec.bat or something, which only executes when you reboot into DOS mode. But if you try to open a DOS executable from Windows 98, it attempts to open it in Windows 98 in a DOS window, but it goes full screen. But that has better compatibility with this hardware for some reason. When I try to load Doom in DOS, raw DOS, the volume is super low. And I don't know if it's a problem with the sound card itself or a problem with DOS and that, just compatibility in that software. I don't know. Replaced with gold Nichicon capacitors. I also bought this other. This is a kind of a sexy. It's kind of disgusting because whoever sold it to me didn't clean it. I mean, I don't care, but I kind of want to buy a ultrasonic cleaner just to clean stuff. But I have a newer sound card also. This is another Sound Blaster, but the Audigy 2 ZS, and it's got almost everything is gold plated. It's kind of disgusting on the back, but it's got gold-plated everything. Firewire, all the jacks, all the pin headers are all gold-plated. Like, what in the heck? So this is but this will probably go. This will probably go in the Time Machine, not the. But it's disgusting. It's like super nasty. So I have to clean this with some alcohol or something, and just let it sit. Anyways, this is another new card that I got, and this this little dongle thing here is kind of cool. It actually lets you run your front panel audio, like headphone jack and mic jack inputs. It allows you to run them through the sound card, so you get the quality through the sound card, but you get to use those ports in the front. So that's kind of cool. Oh, well, if I don't talk about it, if I forget it, I actually ordered USB ports for this computer because I after I started working on the Time Machine, I got used to using USB because there's generic USB 2 drivers for Windows 98. So I got really used to copying things over from a flash drive, and I'm like, dang, this sucks. Having to either use the CD, burn stuff to a disk, which I don't have many discs left, and I don't really feel like buying any. This is how many burned discs I have left, or empty discs I have left before I have to buy some more. But certain games actually require, well, I don't know if they require it, but they're better with the CD because you get the CD audio. Like, it's actually streaming the audio from the disc while you're playing the game. So we'll show you, I actually have Quake burned to a disc, which has CD audio. So if you don't do it properly and you try to run it off like if you just drag the files over and you try to load it, it won't have audio. But it's because it's expecting the audio from the CD. So kind of interesting. DOS should have Sound Mixer too. I tried looking, and it was at 100%. Like none of the settings made any sense to me. Maybe we'll take a look. We'll fire it up. We'll fire it up. You really want ISA sound card. So this one has an ISA sound card. So it's like I said, it's a Intel chipset, like Intel Zappa E, I think is the technical chipset for this, with the Pentium 133 megahertz. But I have the sound card is an ISA sound card. You can't. Oh, what am I doing? I have a button for this. Can't really see it super well because there's ribbon cables everywhere, but the bottom 3 slots on this motherboard are ISA. They're these like brown. They're these brown colored ones. Let me turn the ISO up on this. Oops, not down, idiot. Okay. Yep, so the bottom, it's covered by this. The bottom 3 slots with this one in are ISA slots. So, and this one came with a sound card. Actually, it came with a modem too, but it wouldn't boot with the modem in, so I had to take it out. So there's nothing in the bottom one here. But this is an Ensoniq what is it called? Ensoniq Soundscape Opus or something it's called. Like so it's kind of like a Sound Blaster, not a clone, but it has Sound Blaster emulation as well as some other things, because this was a little bit Sound Blaster, or the original Sound Blasters, like 16 or whatever it was, they're older, you know, so but these ones have compatibility with Sound Blaster, so you can use them with Sound Blaster and MIDI support, general MIDI support. So like Doom sounds really good with the MIDI, with just MIDI sound fonts. So that's the sound card down here, and the graphics card is I'm gonna have to look for the chips underneath here. What is the brand though? Matrox, I think it's a Millennium. Matrox Millennium, and that's a PCI. I guess we can look in the BIOS. So, and then that's pretty much it inside. I don't really know how much RAM it has. I think it's like 80 megabytes or something. But it's got these DIMMs in here. Actually, I don't even know. This is probably not. Oh, you guys can't see what the hell I'm talking about. Got some RAM. This is the part about computers that I don't really miss, is all the ribbon cables. Well, there's RAM in there. You guys can see it. It's in there. And the CPU down here doesn't have a fan. It just has a heatsink on it at a screaming 133 megahertz. Okay, so that's pretty much that. I've got to plug it in, and then we can turn it on. I am looking, if you guys know any, well, I know everybody's gonna say Model M, but I'm looking for some nicer, PS2. I'm looking for some nicer PS2 keyboard and mouse stuff, because this computer it doesn't have any USB ports. I'm adding some just so I make transferring things easier, but I only have one. So like I was thinking maybe I should pick up I remember pretty distinctively the Microsoft IntelliMouse or whatever it's called. I mean, it's not super retro, but I think I can get a laser one or an optical one with PS2 connector. And I don't know if I want to buy a Model M. Like, I don't. Those are just, they're expensive, and I just feel like, I don't know. Maybe if you're a Model M keyboard owner and you think it's worth it, then let me know. It relied on the 180 millimeter fan, which is pretty loud actually. It's kind of annoying. You have the Gateway AnyKey. Hey, is that hey, if it matches, yeah. If it's not in bad shape, I'll if you want to shoot me an reverse, make me an offer. You tell me how much you want for it. I don't know. Granted, it can't be that expensive, but their membrane, yeah, hardware macro. Oh, ESS. Oh, Ensoniq, yeah, Soundscape. Yep. Yeah, it's fine. I think there's something defective with it, because when I was trying to play it in DOS, the volume is just doesn't work. But it sounds great in Windows. So look up PicoGus for ISA emulated. Oh, I've seen some of those. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. That's like the creme de la creme for ISA stuff, because it's got like a bunch of different card emulators built in, or emulation for different cards into it. It's a possibility. I think that this computer is fine, the way it is, just because it's not really a 3D machine, And you'll see. I'll let me boot it up. I'll stop talking about it now, and I'll boot it up. And oh God, what happened? See, this camera went ham. Okay, let's boot it up. I think I gotta plug it in again. I was using this other power supply, but I knew I was gonna do this thing. So this is I hate how much power supplies cost now. This is just a plain Jane 80 plus white, so it's just 80% efficiency, which is pretty not low, but not amazing. and it was $75 or something for a set. You know, I did get a 7. Well, it was on sale too for Black Friday, but you can't really get anything cheaper than like $60 for a halfway decent power supply, that's sad to me. Because it used to be where you could get good deals on stuff. Because that's the big part about a budget build, you know, is half your build is a power supply, really. Okay, let's boot it up. I've been kind of liking using the OLED or the LG C2 as a monitor. I am super excited for the 4K, RetroStream 4K, because I think it would be just awesome with like better good compatibility. I think this is plugged in. I was testing a different power supplies. I'm hoping everything's plugged in. Oh. It's probably not even playing for you guys. Okay, so I'm going to go to this. Unfortunately, I don't really have... I don't have a good way to do like a face cam because I returned that thing. Can I do... I don't know. I don't have a great way to do face cam, but maybe I can do my... You guys can like... No, you guys are just going to take my word for me being present. We're gonna hop over to capture. No, not game capture. Bench capture. Yes. Windows. Oh gosh, you're gonna be able to see my butt. Nope, can't do that. Okay. All right, we're in. Oh, you know what? Shoot, I need to put my I need to boot my laptop so I can do comments, YouTube comments, because I don't have a great way yet of getting comments over here. Still haven't found my seltzer. I literally had a full can unopened somewhere. All right, I'm plugging in my, come on. Plugging in my laptop. Well, that's happening. You guys can listen to some... Oh, you know what? I have to put on headphones at this point, actually, because I've got to mute the room audio, or else you guys are going to hear this twice. So I got to do this. I've got to switch my output to the headphones. I've got to mess with the mixer. All right, so let me put on Doom. So this is what I was talking about. If I go to... what I didn't do is I need to create a separate folder structure for DOS games. My son was playing... Magic School Bus. There's like an ocean game. He's been loving that. So okay, let me pull up comments for the YouTube first. Okay. Anyways, I was talking about. In my C drive, I wanted to make I've got this games folder, which is easy to access from DOS, but I should make a separate DOS games and games. Because one thing, unless somebody in the chat, if you know, can you do spaces in DOS, in the titles for DOS files and folders? Because I think I noticed that you can't really have spaces in the names of executables and folders. So you kind of have to smash stuff together. I tried using this Acronis TrueImage to clone the disk from this 2GB one to the SSD. So that was a utility. It's not free. It has a free trial, but yeah, that's kind of hard to find. Okay, let's do this. Almost got comments up. Sorry, guys. All right, I'm gonna load Doom in Windows. I hope it's not gonna blast your eardrums off. 8.3 has no spaces, so could you update? The DOS in Windows 98? Can you guys hear this? Okay, you should be able to, right? you can you update the DOS version on Windows 98? Okay, so yeah, it has that sweet sweet music. And I got mouse. Well, the Windows side has mouse look support, but I got a cute mouse driver installed in DOS, so you can actually use mouse look in DOS on the actual DOS or Doom original Doom client. Actually, this is the shareware Doom 1. The sound might be low. Let's see. Let me turn down this. Oh, whoops, am I turning the wrong thing up? Why does it seem like this is low now? Is this on? Wait a minute, guys, sorry. Oh, monitor and output, okay. Okay, so you guys should be able to hear it okay. Let me know if it's too loud. There's a utility called DOS LFN that you could use to enable long file names in DOS, but it has some of its own caveats. Oh, okay, interesting. Okay, now I need to, I'm sorry, I'm at my computer. I need to turn on the output. Or the line in. Don't. Oh, darn. Okay, never mind. I'm only going to be able to do it through here. Shoot. Okay, well. Okay, let me know if that's too loud for you guys. Nice. It sounds good. So this is Sound Blaster sounds, but the MIDI sound font music, which is the way I like it. The music. The mouse sensitivity is really. Okay. So I mean, not bad for. Oh, God, that's really low now. Not bad for a computer that is 25 years old. I mean, granted, it's Doom, one of the easiest games in the world, but to run. But you could just, for example, type for program. Oh, I can do the little tilde 1 to open the program. Interesting. So it just kind of cuts it off at the space. Throw a barrel. Yeah. I like Doom 2 better than Doom 1. Change my mind. So this is going through more expensive ESS sound cards come with wavetable. Interesting. Yeah. Does this have wavetable? Is that supposed to sound better? I don't see a header. Is that supposed to be better or something than the MIDI? I mean, it would be cool if I had one of those, like the Roland. What are those external MIDI boxes? The crazy MT whatever the Raspberry Pi Mr. Project one is. MT32, is that what it's called? Look at how low the resolution is. You can barely see what those guys look like from way over here. That's crazy. Red key. Yeah, MT32. Yep. Unfortunately, I think when I stream at 4K, there's like a delay. YouTube gives you a little bit of delay, so I wish I could have quicker. Like, you guys seem to be lagging behind me like 30 seconds, which is unfortunate, but I think that's the nature of 4K. Yeah. Yeah, well, I was way too young to play this game, and I played it, yeah, on our family computer. And I had to memorize the commands to start it. Well, actually, I had the Windows version of Doom. I had Ultimate Doom, which is Doom 1. It comes with an extra, it came with extra things, you know what I'm trying to do. I'm gonna turn the sound effects down a little bit. Came with an extra episode, but it was also a Windows client. You didn't need to run it in DOS. But I had other games. I had Full Throttle. I played Full Throttle as a DOS game, so someone had copied that to the hard drive. I played Sim Town. I think I remember playing that from the hard drive in DOS. Indeed. And this is kind of, for me, it's kind of as nostalgic, or if not more, than consoles for me at the time. At least this generation, because I played a lot of consoles after this era. But did I miss that shortcut with the chainsaw? Yeah, whatever. I don't really need a chainsaw. Oh, that's where I came in. See you later, I guess. Right. Yeah, Vincent. Yep. And it's actually not, if you stick with just basic stuff, it's really not as complicated as it seems. Because really the loop of playing a game is just finding the setup executable, or like, I guess copy, if the if the game is small enough for you to copy it onto your hard drive, copy it in your hard drive, unless it has CD audio, then you have to worry about that. But then just run the setup file. You might have to find out your information about Sound Blaster stuff to find out what was that called, the ISA or whatever it is, the number, and then just run the game with the command. But when I was 6, I didn't understand that. Yeah, some Windows games are resource hogs. Yeah, especially on these older. Yeah, it got worse. later on. Okay, let's run Quake. I'm just interested to see you guys. Oh, you hear that? This is like a drone. Like whole computers are just so loud. You guys can witness software rendered Quake on this computer. It runs. I just have to run it on a low. I have to run it on a low frequency. Yep, this is the Live Gamer 4K. Real complication comes from older games pre-93 or so that use EMS or need high amounts of conventional memory. Yeah, I haven't really messed around with any of that. Needing to I know like Phil from Phil's Computer Lab, he had to like build a computer for Wing Commander or whatever, some game that needs like a specific frequency CPU to run well. Is this supposed to look like that, the Quake screen, or is there something wrong? So I have the CD in the drive because I have to get the audio, the 9 Inch Nails music. It's so loud. How do I just go one? It says on or off. Oh, sound volume. I want to turn this. Oh wait, do I have to adjust it from this? No, that didn't work. How do I turn the volume down? This is just literally on or off. I guess it's like, I don't care about you. Okay, let's try. Let's do this. Actually, I have a game here, or a game I was playing. I mean, it looks like hot garbage, but I mean, it runs fine. I don't know what level I'm on. I've never played this game actually all the way through. Alt-Tab? What is that gonna... Oh, boy. That just... Huh? Okay, while we're here. Okay, here we go. Oh god, there is some latency. It's bad. It's running. Look at this though, it's great. I guess I could probably turn the resolution down even more. Just gonna get this to run. Quake auto run is supposed to look like that. Oh, okay. If you're running Windows in the lower color mode. Ah. Okay, and so that is a limitation to my graphics card, because I know I can't do it high. Well, I guess I could crank down the resolution, but that might blow up the OSSC. I might wait to experiment with resolutions with the 4K. Okay, where am I going? Video options. So I'm at the lowest, 320 by 200. So I guess we can move the screen size down more. Ah, yes. This is the Quake you know and love. Unless you do know and love it, playing it from a postage stamp. That would be funny. I could barely tell what the hell is happening. I think that's a guy with a chainsaw hand. Oh, to reduce the volume in Windows. Oh, I see. Yeah, got it. Yeah, I turned it down in the. I guess I didn't even think of that. To turn it down in Windows. I turned it down in the capture. This is some nice ambient music, though. I also kind of can't tell what the hell's happening because it's so dark. Ooh, how do I get that? Right. Oh, that do the thing? Yeah, look at that. This was good performance for the time. In 1996, the Matrox Millennium was one of the best 2D SVGA cards of the time. Oh, nice. I'm glad it just happened to be in this. And this was when Quake came out, right? Quake came out around this time, right? So I can't imagine how people were playing it better at the time. I mean, I guess very quickly afterward, they had better 3D cards and Voodoo and stuff. Got a silver key. Pentium 1 at 133, just upgrade to a 233 MMX. Can I put that into this socket 5? Or do I need a whole new motherboard? I wish I could see where I was going. I kind of really can't tell. Oh, this is where I was in the beginning? Huh? Whoa. Holy shnikes. Yeah, like I said, I never really played Quake that much. So maybe when we get the time machine up and running and I can run this at a better resolution, I can Portal? I'd like to play this all the way through. You need a socket 7, got it. Interesting. Matrox was a luxury item back then? So somebody really shelled out the money when they bought this machine. That stinks. I wonder how much a socket set, is it worth upgrading or just leaving? Or maybe I can find, like, what computer, is there a pre-built, an OEM system that had a socket 7? Maybe I'll do that instead. I'll try to find a good deal on like the next performance leap. I know that the Pentium Pro was 200 megahertz, but it still wouldn't have had an AGP. Well, I guess there were probably better PCI, Voodoo cards, and I think what I intended to buy when I bought the S3 Savage was the S3 Trio, I think, and I ended up getting the Savage instead. So I don't know if that's a lot better, or if that would be a lot better for this game. Because I would like to play it without, not on super modern hardware, but I don't love the time, the concept of the time machine. I don't love it. I do and I don't. Like, I mean, I understand it just to play the games, but it's kind of like emulation versus what the heck are you shooting? It's like emulation versus real hardware, in a way. Can I get in there somehow? Guess not yet. Is this? Shoot the button. Thanks, game. Yeah, so I guess I'm looking for ideas for the like a good machine to get after this. Like something good for 3D games. But I think Athlon is still too new. But I guess that would have been the next kind of like major Windows XP, because that would have come out around the same time as Windows XP. And gold key. Okay. You need socket 7, not just socket 7, but socket 7 supporting. Okay, so the P55C chipset won't support. Okay, so they need to have a chipset that supports MMX. Got it. No, I kind of get it, because there's yeah, just chipset / CPU stuff. Because I know there's socket 574, I think, which is what I first got for my Athlon 64, which is the first gen Athlon 64 CPU. But then that processor was also on a whole bunch of other platforms, and also there was various support for like SATA hard drives and things. So, what did that come from? Oh. What the heck? Is there an invisible thing in here? Or did I kill it? Oh, okay. There was a guy? Maybe I just can't kill that guy? See you later. Oh, this is where I can get here. Ah. Still need to find the gold key though. Pentium 3. Okay, Pentium 3, interesting. Actually, streaming audio from the CD was not. I thought it would have the CD like fired up all the time, but it's kind of fine. Can I turn the? Oh, here we go. The brightness was all the way down. Okay. Well, I'll turn it down a little bit. There we go. At least I can see a little bit better. Guess I needed to do something else around here. Interesting, Pentium 3. So I wonder what OEM system I could get that in. Not like I need it to be in an OEM system, but I kind of feel like that's the better way to find parts, like a whole system. You just gotta hope that this person who ships it doesn't mangle it. I got really lucky with this system, I think. Oh, is this guy like a re-dead? Does he come back to life here? Oh, he does. Well, that's scary. Okay. I feel like I've been here 1,000 times and I haven't found what I'm looking for. Gold key, gold key. Oh, I didn't go down here yet. Whoa. Oh, there it is. You got the gold key. This game is kind of already more enjoyable than Doom, especially coming from a Doom fanboy. Actually, Pentium 3 Tauletin, how do you pronounce that? Tauletin? CPU can run faster than most Pentium 4s with older applications, non-SSE2. But then you could disable cache and downclock it to run older games. Okay, so that seems like a good kind of better compatibility than this CPU even. I'm trying to come up with a I don't know, something to tell somebody who's looking to get into retro PCs to like where to start, like or good bang for buck. And I really kind of think Athlon right now is good, Athlon 64 at least. But I don't know what the options are. What video card are they running? This is a Matrox Millennium. This is not a super good, not a 3D card. It's a 2D card, really. DOS compatible. Although I guess those guys were saying it's high. Oh my God, what is that thing? Ah! These guys are saying it was like a high-end card. Not high-end, but fancy for the time. Oh, did I fall all the way down here? Or is this a new area? Am I missing something? Am I supposed to fall down there? I guess I was just supposed to avoid that spike. Fine for Athlon 64 motherboard with ISA and AGP slot. Interesting. Yeah, that would be about what I got. The socket 754. Actually, let me see. Maybe there's an even older one. No, it just says PCI slots, but that's also an MATX motherboard. The socket 754. I spent not a lot of money, but I spent over $100 on a socket. I think it's 939, which is the same CPUs. Actually, it was available up to Athlon X2, I believe, but it's a high-end motherboard. It was a best socket 939 motherboard that Anantech recommended. I can't remember off the top of my head what it is. What is going on down here? You guys need to quiet down. Simmer down now. Oh, these are re-dead guys. Alright, I'm out. What was that? Oh my God, there's a guy up there. This is kind of chaos. Okay. What am I supposed to do here? Oh, I run into that one? Oh God, this is gonna squish me. Oh, nope, just kidding. Up we go. That probably freaked a lot of people out the first time they saw it. Nice. Yeah. No, the one I got didn't have any ISA. So I'm not really looking for, at that point I'm not really looking for, I guess I'm looking for like what's a good Windows XP machine. Although that's annoying too because there's so many XP kind of lasted longer than just XP because people used it with how do I save? Single player? Save. Done. Okay. Okay, so maybe we can look at, let's see. What else do I have installed? Oh, I have Encarta. This is actually really good. It's an encyclopedia, but it has these cool little mini games and stuff in there. I used to play that a lot when I was a kid. My son likes it, but I've been playing with him. This I'll put this in before I turn it off. So I don't really know. I want a bigger hard drive in this besides 2 gigabytes. I want to at least use that 32 gigabyte compact flash. But ideally, I would like to have an SSD, not just for speed, but just lightweight. I'm not putting a hard drive in here. My hard drive is taking off, or the disk drive is taking off. This is a pretty fun game for if you have kids. There's a whole series of them. There's not just this. This is the ocean one, but this is a bop.
down Main Street, you're relaxed and feeling good. Next thing that you know, you see it.
I never played this when I was this age, I guess. If you're used to the intro from the actual Magic School Bus show, the audio in this is way higher quality, like a super high quality intro, and like all the voice lines are like really really high quality, which is funny.
Step inside, it's a wild ride. Come on, ride on the Magic School Bus.
Uh-oh, did it freeze? Nope. I don't know why it's in this window either. It's like zoomed way in, not this like 16:9, but it's only like 4:3, like zoomed in. Maybe it's because the resolution in Windows is too high.
Now let's hit the beach.
Yeah, so this is fun. This is like crab minigame. Not that cool if you're an adult, but
It's up to you to help out Clarence Crab. He's
it's kind of
hungry
neat.
for clams, but the seabirds are
Just
hungry for
I don't
him.
know, just different
Click on the clam
styles
to
of
make him
games
eat,
because this is
and click on the holes to help him.
good
bond.
entertainment back then. Edutainment. Come on, crab. What are we doing? Oh yeah, food. Oh god, look at this fat pigeon, this fat seagull. Ah! Yes. I didn't expect it to just cut it off though. I kind of expected it to scale a little bit, but yeah. So you have to set your resolution to whatever this resolution is first. Actually, can I do that now?
You won a fish card.
Oh, yes. Fish card.
Do you
Nice.
want to continue to the next?
Can I do... Or this is probably going to explode it, huh? This? Oop, I don't know if the capture is going to explode. Let's see. Oh, it worked. Hey. Nice. See, fixing that, changing that HDMI cable fixed most of the issues I was having.
Next level?
Oh, look at that. It's full screen. No, my crab. Issue with retro. Uh-oh. Oh, it's working. Issue with retro gaming. You chose older hardware, you lose compatibility with some modern hardware. Then you get a later hardware, you lose compatibility with older games. Yeah, that's why I'm like, The only problem is that I just want to install a whole bunch of games and have them all on here so I can have them later on. But yeah.
Are you
Obviously,
sure
I know
you
that
want to quit
that's
this
not
game?
super realistic. Yeah, Ralphie, I want to quit the game.
Played really well and won a lot of fish cards. But be sure to come back and win more.
Nice. I'll have to tell my son that I figured out how to make it bigger. Quit. There we go. Nice. So yeah, I mean it's it's still kind of early days for me as far as and let me go sit down. I'm gonna turn this off for now. It's almost done with the stream, but I just wanna. Oh, and the piece de resistance, it's now safe to turn off your computer. Nice. It's still early days for me for just the whole the whole re-experience. Well, Well, I said I played this when I used a computer like this when I was younger, but not a whole variety of games. Well, actually, that was the computer that we first had the internet on, so I used more of the internet, I think, in general. Well, no, it's about equal, because I played a lot of Doom, and there was this game, Necrodome, that my brother played. It's like this, it's kind of like Twisted Metal, but like a PC game. And SimCity 2000, I played a lot of that. So I did play a lot of PC games, but I didn't really understand it. I didn't understand, how to use DOS, how to install new games. I really had to have an adult that understood, which was not my dad. My dad didn't necessarily understand. He could understand, because he liked to play this chess game. So he could understand, put the disc in, and usually it would like autoplay, load the game, and play the game that way. He didn't really get DOS or like loading new games into DOS. And if you'd only known that all you had to do is copy the files over and then run the game in DOS, know the run command, or know the setup command, know the run command for the game, that you could play 8 zillion other games. Avermedia GC573 Live Gamer can support 240p direct input. I think the issue was with the HDMI cable, because it was causing it would just drop out. So I think that was the issue. I mean, I've been kind of impressed with the resolutions I've been able to input. Well, and the OSSC too. All that was going through the OSSC, although I believe through input 3, which is the VGA input, I think that's a direct capture and direct input. So it's kind of like that mixed with the Avermedia card. They both took it well. I mean, other than it drops out when you switch resolutions for a second, but Necrodome owns nice Doom, but you're a Jeep. Yeah. And like I said, my dad had a friend that was good at computers, and so he helped my dad kind of pick out that computer, and he got us Christmas presents either that year or like the year, I think it was like that Christmas right after we got that computer. He got us Doom. I was 6, and my brother's like 10, 8, or 9 or 10 at the time, and Doom and Necrodome. So we played those games so much, and it's funny because my brother used to also at the time he liked Elton John, listened to Elton John, so he would play Doom while listening to Elton John at the same time on this computer, and there's just that combination in my head, just reminds me of that. I started early from 1988 with DOS games. That's like late. That's like right after IBM era, because the IBM that I have is like a 3rd or 4th generation IBM PC, the AT, and that would have been 85 or so. I just want to give context both for myself and to other people, because there's a lot of years between, when I talk about this machine versus when I talk about the Athlon, that's probably six years difference. So it's a pretty long time. 6 years nowadays would be a whole entire console generation apart, so just something to think about. Started early from 1988 with DOS games throughout the 90s, but I'm addicted to upgrading PC, and I can't seem to get over until 2007. Yeah, I doing builds and just learning stuff, learning just the intricacies of this, because ISA, you've got ISA slots in here, you've got just different compatibility things, sound cards, which is things that people don't really think about anymore, and not even just sound cards, but also like what type of sound card, because different sound cards make different sounds. Obviously, they have different FM chips, or compatibility with different MIDI. Like I know the Sound Blaster Live has an easy way that you could put MIDI sound fonts in. I don't know if the Ensoniq Soundstage has that, or Soundscape has that. I couldn't find any utility actually for that. I think it's because it's an OEM card. Well, it's not just an OEM card. I barely found a Vogons forum thread about how to use it in Doom. And that's what I was talking about, where I had to add something to Doom. I think it's called DOS. It's the autoexec.bat that runs only when you reboot Windows 98 into DOS. And consequently, there's one also for Windows, so you can have it. You can load drivers from Windows only, or load drivers for DOS only, or both if you do it with autoexec.bat or config.sys or whatever file. Did I play Quarantine? No. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, there's all these games that I've never heard of before that sound amazing, and like, there's like RPGs and things. Like, I love RPGs. I like FPS games a bit, you know, especially older ones. You know, like Halo and older, that kind of run and gun type of stuff. But I really like RPGs a lot. Just something that I can, you know, in my free time, because I would play this. I'm trying to get this rig set up for like. I want this computer with a little bit of a bigger hard drive. Like, I don't think I'm going to upgrade the sound card or the video card, but I just want to be able to put more games on it and just get my CRT working. And I've got these little PC speakers in the basement. I just want it in my basement, have it set up all the time. And I want it so that my son can boot it up and play it, because I remember that just all the time, being able to navigate Windows and everything myself. So I don't know if he'll really care. I mean, my son uses a computer that I have in the basement that's basically just a Steam computer. Well, you know, it's fine spec-wise, but he knows how to load games through Steam and stuff, so. That's a tall tower. It is a tall tower. Yeah. Here, Taylor, I'll give you a quick, Geometry Wars. Wouldn't that be funny if I found the seltzer in this computer? So this is just a generic mid-tower, okay? Generic mid-tower mixed next to the tall. It's like at least a good 6 inches taller. It's about the same depth. Yeah, about the same depth, but like at least 6 inches taller. And it's made out of steel, like mostly steel. It's definitely a heavy boy. Yeah. I think I'd waste too much time playing Doom, Warcraft, and Diablo. Yeah, pretty much. DOS version of Original Worms is great. Oh, really? Oh, I never even thought of that. I kind of would like to play... my headphone cord got wrapped around everything. I kind of would play the original Sim City. I used to like to play this game, Populous. Populous 2 I played. Not the original Populous, but Populous 2 was good. So maybe I'd like to try to play the original Populous. And there's all these Ultima games. I've never played a single Ultima game at all. So it's very interesting. This case is huge. You could house another Athlon motherboard in it. Hey, yeah, I mean, you could. If you could probably put a divider in the middle somehow here and put a second motherboard in the middle of it. And you could probably wire it up to the same power supply if you could figure out how to. You just have to separate the buttons and have like a toggle or something. You can just have a whole second motherboard in there. And there's plenty of PCI slots in the back too if you needed to just run riser cables or something. You could figure it out. Yeah. Soundscape Opus can't load sound fonts. It can only use its... Okay, so it only has its own built-in wavetable. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so maybe well, I don't know. Maybe for a different... I do have, like I said, I've got the soundscape... I've got a... This is actually a little bit more era... this isn't a wave... That's not a wave header, no. This is a little bit more... Windows 98 era. Well, it's a Sound Blaster Live. It originally came out in 1998, so around older than the computer. This computer was from 95, but the sound card, they first started releasing these in 98, but this one's from 2000. But the Audigy 2 ZS here, this other one, this is supposed to be really better quality, even better quality than the other Sound Blaster. This is from 2003. So this is a whole almost 10 years newer than the computer is. So this is probably going to go into my Athlon time machine, but it might end up just being a Windows 98 or Windows XP machine instead. So yeah, I've got to clean all these boards though. Scorched Earth, MechWarrior 2. That's this one, Vincent, the Audigy 2. It wasn't a bad price too. I mean, it needs to be cleaned, but. That's what I'm saying. Now is a good time to look for parts. I wouldn't pull the trigger unless you can find a good deal on a part. Create searches for the parts, and you might get one or something a day if you put in a socket motherboard or something. If you're looking for a specific model or whatever, You had an original Sound Blaster 16 and with the CD-ROM that attaches to it. Yep. Since it had a proprietary IDE interface on it. Yeah, most of them have these the CD in. Actually, you can see. I'm gonna do this one last thing before I log off. Turn the light on. This was interesting, and that's what I was, part of what I was talking about with the CD, the CD audio, playing CD audio with Quake. Uh-oh, did this die? Hello? Yep. Oh, wait. Oh, I think this capture card died. Or did it? Yeah. Oh, whoops, rip. Well, let me go back to this. I guess the cam link doesn't like being, I don't know, switched away from or unplugged. You can't really see. It would have been better with that other camera, but I've got a gray cable. Okay, you can't even see. On the back of the IDE drive, next to the ribbon cable, there's a little 4-pin connector thing. Actually, you don't even need a special cable. You can get just these normal. What are they? I don't know what the actual technical term for them is, but those like the 4, not Molex, but like this 4 square-looking things. You could just use a generic one. Actually, oh, I have one. Derp. Over here. This is a generic one. The one I have is actually a. Well, I guess they're not generic, but this is one. So it has on one end. It's basically the same thing on either end. One plugs into the back of the CD drive, and the other one plugs into the sound card. So and that enables it to use the CD audio, or you can listen to the CD audio in the game. Or you can listen to CDs just with like this one has the audio slider with a headphone jack integrated into it. So I wonder if you could hook it. I wonder if I can hook it. Can I use this headphone jack? I wonder if I can use this headphone jack to get all the audio from the computer. Interesting. I didn't think of that. Because I want a way to be able to plug in my headphones to listen to the computer, not through my computer. Because I have to monitor it through OBS. Actually, well, it's a long story. Better to use digital out from CD, just 2 cables. It sounds cleaner. Interesting. So that's a different connector? Because I've got on the Soundblast, actually on the Ensoniq. I don't know if the Ensoniq. Oh, it might have some kind of that might be a fan. Oh, what is this? That might be it. I can't read what it says because it's kind of crusty. It's got a 2-pin thing, so maybe I should do that. So it's a digital. It's a digital signal. Interesting. So maybe I'll have to get some cables for. You can only hear CD audio tracks. Got it. Enable digital CD audio checkbox under Device Manager. You could use the analog cable for CD audio, but I think about that era you could do the digital audio over the bus instead of the analog cable. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yep. I'll have to look into that. Yep. Imperialism 2 was another game I played. There's a ton of these games. There's just like literally as many retro games as there's computer games, for those or retro console games. There's that or more. Just shovelware, garbage, and good stuff. I never played any of the Commander Keen games. None of those. Well, there's a pinball game that I remember playing too. There's a lot of 3D pinball games from that time that were pretty good. Well, 3D. Okay, cool, great. Well, you know what? I'm. Last week I was sort of, or what? So it would have been Wednesday. Wednesday I was a little concerned that you guys weren't really gonna enjoy old retro computer stuff. But I'm gonna keep doing it a little bit more. Well, probably by the time that the next time I stream, so this Wednesday, I'll probably have the RetroTink 4K now in, because I got a shipping label. We'll have to see. So it might be either this Wednesday or Sunday afterwards, and we'll be able to take a look at that. So I don't know if you guys want me to do computer stuff. I kind of said, or Mike kind of asked me to do a little bit of computer testing. I don't have to do it. I paid, he didn't necessarily hook me up other than he paid for the shipping, but I paid full price for the RetroTink, so I'm not necessarily beholden to, I would like to, and I'm curious how the resolution switching stuff is. And just the fact that it's in 4K, I wouldn't have to change the resolution in OBS anymore. I'm just going to leave it at 4K. Actually, right now it's probably all bogus. I don't know what resolution it's trying to record at, but I want to just leave it so that I never have to set it, and then I can just tweak it in the console or whatever. Yeah, Duke Nukem. I've never played Duke Nukem either. I really only played Doom. I didn't play Wolfenstein either. I'm just talking about back then. I actually haven't even now. I played Doom 1 and Doom 2, and then I played Doom 3 later. But I never played Wolfenstein. I never played Duke Nukem. It's just ironic because I always heard about Duke Nukem 3D, which was not necessarily that. Was it a 3D? It wasn't really that 3D of a game, right? It was like it was like Doom, or like, it wasn't like Quake 3D. It was like Doom 3D, like the 2.5D, like the software rendered 3D. Computer testing with the 4K. Yeah, yep. So, but I'll have it a little bit early. I know it's not that much earlier than people are actually going to be able to buy it, but it might still be. Oh, the other good thing about the Sound Blaster Live is it does still maintain the game port. I don't think this computer has a game port. The only game port. Oh, speaking of which, I also have that that sealed in box. What the hell do I have here? Let's look at my eBay. This is gonna be like an end of stream thing. I'm gonna look at my eBay purchases and see what's coming in soon. Hopefully there's nothing bad. No, we're good. Okay, just these last couple things. So I've got this sealed Gravis Gamepad Pro. So this is like it kind of looks like a not a DualShock. What is the original PlayStation? Like a PlayStation controller, basically. But it's for the PC. So and it's sealed. It was super cheap. It was not this, or maybe it was. So it was like $35 for a sealed game controller. So I picked that up. So we'll have to unbox that. That'll be fun. I got this when I first bought the Fire GL. The fan on the Fire GL was making a horrible noise. I've actually disassembled it since then, and I put some oil in the bearings. I kind of lubed up the bearings a little bit, and now it seems fine, but it still doesn't power on. So I'm hoping it's the motherboard. So I ordered this MSI KAN Neo 2 Platinum, which is the best socket 939 motherboard, according to Anantech in like 2001. So it has AGP. It doesn't have any ISA slots, but this is newer. It comes with I think it comes with all this stuff. So the cooler, the CPU, and that 2 gigs of RAM, which I'm gonna swap out for like 250. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure. This, like I said, this now is like getting into like Windows XP territory. So maybe I'll do that instead. I don't know. But it has an AGP slot, so I'm hoping to test the card. It doesn't have a universal AGP, unfortunately, so I won't be able to use the S3 Trio, or no, the S3 Savage. I don't know what the hell. How am I going to use this? What platform can I use this? I think this is the 3-volt AGP. Like I explained it earlier, but the keying is different. So this is the Fire GL card. Notice that this key on the thing is here on that. If I hold this the same way, oh God, broken. Just kidding. That would suck. You can see the key. Maybe you can see the key is on the other side. Ugh, never. This is terrible. Just take my word for it. The key is on the opposite side of the card. So it doesn't line up in the same motherboard. Do you see what I'm talking about here? This and that. They're on opposite sides. So I physically can't fit this card in a more modern AGP thing. Stuffing multiple people in front of one keyboard. Those are the days. Yeah. Yeah, when like Doom default keyboard layout was like arrow keys and stuff. Oh, first Unreal Tournament. Yeah, I played those games. I played Unreal, the single player game. I played Unreal later on. But I never played. Yeah, I didn't play any of the other id games, or the Wolfenstein games, or like Rise of the Triad too. I've never played Rise of the Triad. I know that's like the sequel, whatever, to Duke Nukem. Actually, there's a lot of great 2D games in that era. Super Street Fighter. There was a PC port of Super Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat for DOS. What? I had no idea. S3 Savage 4. No, so it's not a Savage 4. This is a Savage. Just a Savage. And I did some research afterwards, and I don't think this is a very... It was not a successful card. I don't know if that means it was bad, like didn't work, but I don't know if I should have bought this, other than it was rare, I suppose. And it has cool outputs as composite, S-Video, and the VGA. But I'm looking for advice for a platform to put that in, because I have no idea. There's a game called SIN. That was the first I remember. You can draw akimbo pistols. Oh, Sin. Yeah, okay. I've heard some of these games. I used to subscribe to Electronic Gaming Monthly, and I was heavy into like looking at all these games that were coming out around the time of Doom 3, because that was my parents had cable internet, and that was when I had my Athlon. I think shortly after the Athlon 64 build, I had a Core 2 Duo. So I went from this computer, well, the Pentium Pro version, so the 200 megahertz gateway, to an Athlon 64 computer that Sony custom built me. And went from that computer to a Core 2 Duo computer that I built myself finally. And then from there, I used that for a long time, actually, the Core 2 Duo. Then I went to a Haswell i5, and then basically what I have now, the Ryzen. Savage needs to get salvaged. I hope not, because I spent a lot of money on it. Not a lot, but it was like $100. Mortal Kombat DOS sounds amazing. Huh. All right, so we got a lot we can do, or not. I mean, it's up to you guys. If you guys care or don't care, I sort of feel like it's a good time to get in on it. At least look at the prices and see if you can pick up something that's either nostalgic for you, like pick an old computer that you had and then like play a bunch of games on it, or I guess if you don't have any PC experience, I guess the Athlon 64. But I probably would recommend, if you're new to computers in general, not just retro computers, which I don't know if anybody's watching this is new to computers, but if you're new to computers and you want to build your own computer, the Athlon 64 route and Windows XP, I think, is a good challenge. It's going to be challenging if you're brand new to computers, because it's not like nowadays where you just plug everything in, install Windows, and like all the drivers come along and it's fine, and you don't really have to do anything other than maybe install the graphics card driver. Back then it was, well, Windows XP was a little less so, but there's still some incompatible issues and things. But you have the option of things like SATA, like there's better SATA compatibility with XP, and that means if you have stuff like a SATA CD drive lying around or a SATA hard drive that you're not using, you can use some of the parts that you might already have if you have some SATA parts lying around. So that's what I would recommend. Buy a Celeron 366 if you're on a budget. Neat. Yeah, I need to look into that. What did you guys say? Pentium 3. The Pentium 3, whatever we were talking about when I was playing Quake. Start with a T. Anyways, all right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Probably should have told you earlier. I gotta do more of the streamy things. Hit like earlier and whatever. If you want to become a member, I don't know. Maybe I'll have to figure out some perks for members. Or if you just want to support me, you can do that for now. But yeah, I appreciate everybody, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Well, maybe with the RetroTink 4K in hand. So see you later.